Sorry, I've been on calls all morning.
Maple Leafs Forever on the Fired Up Network.
Hey, everybody, Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Maple Leafs Forever, and welcome to the female version of Don Cherry, Digit Murphy, as we preview Game 2 at the Scotiabank Arena right here between the Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators. Game 1, the Maple Leafs took 6-2. They lead the best-of-7 series, 1-0. Game 1, really, they came out to play. All the big boys, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, William Nylander, Riley, everybody. Yeah, talk. All right, I'm going to say it's going to be a very more competitive game. Ottawa and Maple Leafs, they were chirping at each other, and really, it's going to be more physical. What do you say, Bridget?
100%. Like, Ottawa is not going to take it. They're going to come out. They're going to smack Toronto in the face, but they're just not going to be able to have the horses to actually complete it. But I do think that tonight they're going to come out and they're going to beat them. It's going to be close. It's going to be physical. And the more that Ottawa takes out of Toronto, I think it's going to bode well for the Senators. But as Toronto wears down the series, they better punch their lights out over the next 5 games, because I don't know. I'm not saying Toronto's not a tough team, but I don't think they're a very tough team. So they gotta stay fresh, and they gotta play in less games. So tonight, Ottawa's gonna win in Toronto, but after that, I think Toronto will sew it up.
All right, so hold on. You're calling for the Ottawa Senators to beat the Maple Leafs. What's the score? Who's the player of the game? Come on.
It's going to be close. It's going to be 3-2 or 2-2 in overtime. I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the player of the game. You pick. I don't think they're going to be all three goals are going to be scored by separate people. So whoever scores that last goal is going to be player of the game. That's what I say.
All right. Well,
what do you think?
You say Ottawa's going to win, and
Yeah.
see, I'm the president of the province of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, and soon to run for the mayor of Mozambique. I can't spell it. Anyways, this is the time where the Maple Leafs have to prove that this year's different. They have a team down 1-0, and they scored 6 goals, and 6-2 the game 1. I agree, it's going to be a much tougher game, but I believe if they're a different team, the Maple Leafs will prevail. Look at Winnipeg. They're leading 2-0 already, and Florida and Tampa Bay haven't started. They start tonight at 6:30. It's crazy, but if the Maple Leafs are going to prove to everybody that this year it's different, they got to win tonight.
I agree with you. They do have a new coach. Maybe that's different. Maybe that's going to be the difference, but I'm just going to go back of them falling onto their old habits, and I'm just going to bet against them because I want to bet against you, and I want to bet against Toronto just for fun, even though I wore my Toronto 6 sweater for you. See that? Toronto 6, best logo ever. I mean, not to take anything away from the PWHL, but some of these kids don't even know how to spell scepters.
Yeah.
Like, we had the best names. What the heck? Okay, sorry. I went to women's hockey. Let's go back, Joe.
We'll touch on women's hockey, but you asked me, are the Maple Leafs going to win tonight? I think it's going to be a real nail biter. I think it's going to the Leafs 4, Ottawa 3.
All right.
4-3. Leafs go to Canada on Thursday for game 3, up 2-0. But before we touch on the PWHL, I want to touch on the NHL. I just mentioned Winnipeg up 2-0 in their series. Edmonton and LA. I don't know if you watched this game yesterday. It looked like you do because of the face rate. LA leading in the last couple minutes, 4-1, third period, and then they make it 5-2, and then Edmonton comes back to tie it up, only to give away a goal with like 20 seconds left. LA winning game 1, 6-5. What did you think?
I only watch the highlights because I can't stay up that late. I'm old. But
45 is old, I know.
I know. 45. I love that. Thank you. I love you. but I just watched them blow a 4-goal lead, and I'm like, how do you do that? But the good news is, imagine losing though. Like, at least they won. And I think it was like, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds left in the game. But that kind of takes the wind out of your sails or gives you a wake-up call, right? If you're LA, like, oh man, we cannot, at 1 minute, we can never let our guard down. And when I was coaching, Joe, I used to always say, you have to put your pedal to the metal until the game is over, because you can score 2 goals in the last 2 minutes and lose the game. And this is what hockey's about. It's why hockey's the greatest game in the world. You're never out of it. Look at that. 4-goal lead and they come back. So I think give it to, I don't know, Edmonton. Let's give it to them in the second game when they play, just because I want to be the dissenter today. The other day, me and you were getting along. Now I'm gonna go against you.
I agree with that, and that's going to be an entertaining series. But you mentioned hockey's the greatest game. What about Dallas winning in overtime? They could have been down 2-0 or 2-0 in Dallas. Now they're tied up 1-1, heading back to Colorado. It's certainly entertaining there. And Montreal being the 8th seed and playing Washington to overtime.
Yeah, overtime.
And who scores? Ovechkin. Come on, you can't write a better story than that, right? So
I know, and he got 2 goals, which was amazing. I love to watch Marty St. Louis on the bench. I remember, he's just a nice presence for Montreal. He's got them fired up. He's got them going, and good for Montreal for taking them to overtime. We talked earlier in the week. I think Washington's got it, but I'm kind of silently cheering a little bit for Montreal to keep it close.
See, since I'm the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, and soon to run for the mayor of Mozambique, can't spell it, I'm going to give you an opportunity to gloat, okay? As you know, Sunday was the Women's Championship, of course, between Canada and America. And in overtime, tell everybody who won.
The Team USA team won on a bad change by Canada. I mean, that makes your heart just sink as a coach, even in the Ohio State, Wisconsin final game in the NCAAs.
Yeah.
Ohio State takes a too many players on the ice penalty at the end. It's like those just kill you as a coach. And for USA to win, I mean, it was a beautiful goal. I think it was, Janicki, I think, scored, but Heinze takes the puck off the wall, off the bad change, because it looked like I can't remember the D on Canada. She passes it up to Fillier, who was supposed to be there. She changes. Heinze intercepts it, and instead of shooting, she sees Janicki coming down the back door, just kind of pass shoots it to her. Janicki tips it in, game over. USA celebrates over Canada. And I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, it's just another PWHL game. It is. What's happening now, which is good, is that the PWHL should be becoming a higher level than the Olympics. And until the women treat it like that, they're still treating it like Team USA, Team Canada is the be-all, end-all. The narrative and the scope of hockey, in order for us to elevate women's hockey to another level, is the Olympics needs to be lower than the pros. And we're still not there yet. So stay tuned for that to happen. And if you don't know what I mean by that, call into the show if it's live. Is this live?
I agree with that totally. And, I always sort of take shots at her, Sarah Nurse, with Pert Plus and all this commercial, but they could learn something from her because she knows how to market herself. She knows how to market and what does the PWHL need? A great marketing campaign. And speaking about the PWHL, just a few days ago, it was announced an expansion team coming to Vancouver. All right. And a little birdie has told me another expansion team will be announced in a couple weeks, and that's sort of where Vancouver is, in Seattle. Do you think the PWHL could sustain a crowd in Seattle?
I think they can. I think that's a great market in the U.S. to go to. I think they have the right audience. I do personally believe that it's hard to sustain a 15 to, I don't know how, will they be playing 20 games, but
Yeah.
they are doing that tour. So I don't know how many games will actually be in Seattle. I think the challenge with women's professional sports is to fill these stadiums consistently so that the revenue will be enough to cover the expenses. Because I think with salaries, I mean, yeah, but to be honest, like their CBA isn't going up for, 7 more years or 8, I don't know, 8 more years. So they got that covered, which I think is the worst part of this whole PWHL, which is the salaries are so low for the athletes as they're expanding. So I don't know. I'd be a little ticked off if I was players, right? Because yes, they're getting to play in all these facilities. Yes, they're expanding. Yes, they're playing in front of some packed audiences in Detroit or wherever they're playing, Minnesota. But at whose expense? And right now the expense is the players, and the PWHL should start to pay the players more. They should increase the salary caps, not expand, or do both. But I think right now all the leverage is not in the players. It's the owners have all the leverage, and that was created because I'll just say it. Jana Hefford went from the head of the PWHPA to then working as the league administrator. So I don't know, like it doesn't sound right to me that you're sitting here, you're focusing on athletes' rights on one hand, and then on the other hand, you go on to the ownership side, and now the athletes are only making $800,000. And the other thing, Joe, they need to make the salaries public. If they're really a players' league, make those salaries public, and they haven't. And
there's a lot of issues. We're going to have Taylor Woods here, but there's a lot of issues with the PWHL. First of all, this 8-year collective bargaining agreement or what, how and who allowed that to happen? If you're going to start a new league, do a collective bargaining 3, 4, half that, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
after 3, 4 years, okay, we're making progress. We're selling out this arena. This arena's low or whatever, and start playing the players. But 8 years, that's number one. All right. Then you're talking about expansion. Like I said, Vancouver, Seattle, maybe Quebec's next down. You're going to expand to what? What are you expanding to? Are you expanding to a 16-team league? Are you expanding? There's no. They have a league. Remember, they played last year without team names. They're going out and doing exactly opposite of what you have a brand, the ladies, and the hockey, the ladies are good. The hockey is good. It's entertaining and all that. But 8-year deal. Come on, you're telling me, okay, well, they went back. I'm going to equate it to NHL. It's like COVID. We're not going to raise the salary cap for 3, 4, 5 years, which they didn't. It went up $1 million. And now next year it's going up 11. Next year it's double that. Okay, so NHL is making money and all that, but you cannot start a professional league and want it to be good here and want it to be making money and relevant if you're going to handcuff yourself for 8 years.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you talked earlier about Sarah Nurse growing her brand, I actually think the PWHL has something in the CBA that only highlights those top players who are making the top money. Okay, so Sarah Nurse is one of them, or Breanne Jenner, or Alex Carpenter, or Hillary Knight. Like all those people are not only reaping the benefits of the salary, they're reaping the benefits of their brands through the PWHL. Now, if the players, because understand that I have an NIL agency, right? Name, image, and likeness. And part of the things that I'm trying to do, Joe, is educate the audience and the athletes about what NIL is and why it's important to grow your brands. So if you play in a league that will not let you expose your brand. So if I was playing for the Toronto Six right now in the PWHL and I wanted to make money, everything I do cannot have anything branded. So for example, all your clips when you're in a hockey game and you're playing, those are out. So I believe that the PWHL should work in partnership with all the athletes to promote their brands and elevate their brands of all the athletes, because you need the players. Actually, the players on the lower end of the spectrum need the most help because they make the least amount of money. So don't be in don't come from a point where the rich get richer, because when the rich get richer, you create dissent, you create bad feelings. That's when people go on strike. Try to raise the bottom levels of those players to at least help them expose their brands. And it may only be for like $5,000 each, because that may really help those lower players really feel important, valued, and actually, Joe, pay their rent. And these players can't pay their rent.
And here's the other thing, okay? We mentioned collective bargaining agreement, but you have upper echelon of players who making, I don't know, what would you say, 70, 80,000, mid players making 50, and the low players making about 30.
Maybe.
If you, yeah, right. And that's what I was going to say. So if you're going to start a league, first of all, collective bargaining, we talked about, pay everybody the same, and 3 players, pay them $10,000 more. That's it. That's it. Not this one makes this and this one makes that and this one. There's 3 levels here. Everybody makes the same for 3 years till the new. If I'm the commissioner, I'm the president, I should say this: 3-year deal, collective bargaining, and then we'll talk about what happens. Give me 3 years. See which one's up, which one's down. Everybody makes $52,000 a year, and then the better players, or the 3 all-stars, let's call it, make 65. That's it. Then after 3 years,
that actually could work, because
of course
then
it's going to work. I'm the president, of course. And then after 3 years, okay, we made money. We're expanding. So now instead of 52,000, it goes up to 65, and the top players make 75. And then after 3 years, we talk, because it's a 10-year process here. You did a collective bargaining for 8 years. Let's say it's a 10-year process. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think I actually think it's a good idea. And then you would be able to, and actually have the players be able to promote their own NIL as well. Exactly. Right. And maybe those 3 players that are supposed to be the best, maybe they get their NIL promoted extra. I don't know, but you're right. You could come up with a model like that. And I feel like right now, all of the leverage and it is business is going to the guy that gave $100 million. Okay. Yeah. So now he's got to recoup his money. Okay. The operative term is he. Okay. I don't know if his wife gave the money too. It's whatever. It's kind of interesting the way that they
gave the money, and that's it. Okay, so that's the truth.
But here's what's happening. They are the PWHL's owner, Mark Walter, now has to justify the investment. Okay, so they're marketing to sellouts. They're marketing to the expansion teams. Because in business, they need an exit strategy. So what's his exit strategy? Sell the teams. So now, if he can pay the players less money, the value of the team goes up, because that's the expense that goes down. So don't ever rule out the fact that this is not a mission driven. It's a business, which it all is, and that this is a critical conversation around what we're talking about. Because we talk sometimes, Joe, as purists. But these guys who are investing in women's sports, they're businessmen. So they got to get an ROI. So that's why this is all happening. You can't begrudge them, really. But
the deal is set and everything like that. But you mentioned something, and then we'll conclude here. You mentioned NIL, which you're a big part of and all that. But correct me if I'm wrong, NIL. So when you have, I'm going to say, a video game, NHL 25, where the PWHL and the teams of the PWHL and the players are all in the game. EA Sports, if it's in the game, it's in the game. So it's in the game. Do they get paid for that?
They should. I mean,
that's right.
They should have
right
deals.
Now they're not.
They should have deals. That's how the settlement happened. There's 3 cases going on in the NCAA, and they've been going on, I want to say, for 5 or 6 years, and they just settled for I can't remember. It's like I should know this, like 6.2 billion or so many billions. Okay. Which most of that money is going to football and men's, women's basketball, mostly men's basketball. But the way that one of the lawsuits happened was there was an athlete that was playing a video game and the guy's like, hey, that's me, right? So he was not getting paid. And that's how one of the initial lawsuits happened. So you're right. They should be getting paid. I don't know if they are, but most likely they are. I don't know how much, but they are.
I heard different reports of that. I hear they're not getting paid, and then they get paid, but they don't get paid. They get paid if you want to. Okay, it's Christmas time, Digit. Here, I'll give you 20 video games. There it is.
Oh, in value in kind, yeah, VIK. Yeah,
that's it. But maybe we should make a show about that.
You should make a show about that. I'm in.
All right, you're in, and so we'll conclude Maple Leafs Forever Game 2 tonight right here at Scotiabank. Don't I look good?
You look good. Anyway, your hair's looking fine.
Yeah, amazing. All right, so Game 2, you're picking Ottawa. Boo.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm picking the Maple Leafs. Yay. All right. But tell everybody, and this is interesting, we talked about NIL. Tell them what you're up to now. And maybe we should do a show next week or in 2 weeks about specifically that. So go ahead.
So you can follow me on X or Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn on @DigitMurphy. But my new gig is UWS NIL. Agency, and you can go right up to uwsnil.com to find us, find out what we're doing. And if you Googled like Digit Murphy UWS NIL, I'm always coming up because Joe, you know this, even though you're the president of the Providences of Canada, I am the one and only Digit Murphy in the world. So I will come up on that search engine. So I have to behave because if I do something bad, it's always right there. So most of the time I'm behaving, most of the time. So that's how you get in touch with me.
So hold on, and we do have. I left this purposely. I don't know if this is a friend of yours or whatever. Patricia has been emailing and asking questions about Digit Murphy. First of all, she wants your digits. Anybody who sends me questions like that, I will never ask. I want your digits. So once again, it's 1-888. Never ask me again. All right, so that's it. Okay. Secondly. It says, and this is a very good question that comes from Patricia, do you think the PWHL can sustain what they have now, or do they have to, again, shut down and restart the PWHL Part 2?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think they can sustain if they sell the teams, because I think that by just having the one owner model, it's shutting down the free market, and the CBA is restricting the players and they have no leverage. Look for more to come with other models. A foreshadow. You never know what Digit Murphy's going to come up with, but no, I think that I think they should have the one league. I think the players need a bigger voice in this. I'm really searching for who the leader is going to be to step up. Like, who is the next Megan Rapinoe, or Sue Bird in basketball? Like, who is going to do that? Because I think that while Kendall and Hillary and all the people that brought Billie Jean King in deserve a lot of credit for bringing in the money, I also do not like what has happened with the lack of respect for those I wouldn't say bottom level players, but the players that come after the top 5 or 6. So
Taylor Woods
get their voice.
Can't get a job. Taylor Woods. So we don't need to go farther than that. Scoring the game.
Thank you, Patricia, for the question.
Yeah, it looks like you have one fan who was going to ask you.
I have one fan. I like that. Hey, more than you, Joe. I'm not seeing anyone in yours asking any questions to you.
It says, Joe, your hair looks stupendous. Yeah, thank you. All right. It's, by the way, my hair looks stupendous. It's by Perk Plus. All right. Because Sarah Nurse actually.
I don't see hardly any grays in there. That cannot be natural.
Not bad for 61. All right. So, again, this is Maple Leafs Forever. I say Maple Leafs win. Digit says Maple Leafs going to lose. Who's going to – you want to place a bet on this?
No.
Do you want to place a bet on it?
No, I don't want to bet.
You don't want to place a bet on it, Digit?
No, you know why? Because a little of this is a little bit to go against you.
No. First of all, the Toronto. Yesterday I went to bed and I slept for 13 minutes. 13 Matt Sundin's number. All right. I have the vision. The Maple Leafs are going to beat Ottawa, and they're going to beat them easier. Not 7,
Okay.
6 games, maybe even 5,
Yeah.
but 6. Then they're going to beat Tampa. All right. And I see the Maple Leafs going into the Eastern Conference Final. Tomorrow when I sleep, I'll see another vision. But I think this year, the Maple Leafs are at least going to the Eastern Conference Final. You heard it here first. All right. And
Well,
here's
they
the other
got-
question.
The reason why I said they were going to win, Joe, win one game, 1 or 2,
Listen, I don't want to talk about the Trojans. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you this, okay? Look at the Ottawa Senators logo is Trojans. Okay, shout out to Norm Rumack there. All right, so I'm going to ask you this, okay? Just let's say the Maple Leafs lose in the first round. Digit Murphy should be the president, GM, coach, skater, hockey player, everything of Toronto, because what are they going to do? They kept running it back last year, 2 years ago, 15 years ago, running back. And by the way, I'm going to say, I don't care. I'm going to call this guy out. Brendan Shanahan, have you seen him lately? What's he up to? He's making $5 million for what? For what? Maybe even $10 million for what? Come on,
Don't know.
Brendan Shanahan.
Don't know.
Like I don't understand this. But anyways, I see them going to the Eastern Conference Final. If they lose, everybody should be fired, and my hair's in place. All right, Digit. Let's conclude this, and maybe we should have a conversation about the PWHL on a show here.
Let me know.
Everybody, Patricia's, and whoever else is your fans.
I only have one.
No, you have many more than one, and let's see. The interesting thing for the PWHL or any rival leagues, Digit, listen to me. If they have a league, let's see, in not weather cities and all that.
Yeah, I could see that.
And people want it, but would go into arena just to cool down or see hockey? Don't answer that. We'll answer that next week when we do that special show. But this has been Maple Leafs Forever. Go Leafs go. The Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators in Game 2 right here. And what do you mean who wins? Come on. Maple Leafs. Go Leafs go. Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs Forever on the Fired Up Network.